Hey everyone, Ben here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up for yourself each and every day. So if you're here from the short, you already have a backstory. If not, our word was dilute. We're looking at this can be a positive thing or a negative thing. It could all be in self, or it can be another onto us, and then we are feeding off of that dilution. We had a supporting angel number card that says on target, keeping your eye on the goal. Also, divine will, focus, intention, consciousness in the result. So, when we look at this as positive or negative, we can look at, let's just start with self. We are, uh, in a negative sense, we can be neglecting how far we've healed or what we've accomplished, brushing it off like it's not that big of a deal. We're not acknowledging things. We're not acknowledging that we've came somewhere, we've accomplished something, we've gotten somewhere. We are ready to receive. When we stay in those places, we're kind of closed off. And then we're wondering why the hell nothing's changing. Why is nothing coming in? When we neglect or we dilute what took place, we're closed off. We think we're still in it. We think we're still working towards something. And in that space, uh, we think we need more. We might be seeking more, whether in the external or in the internal. And the other aspect would be on a this would be I would call this a positive note. Let's say we're working towards something and we're getting hit with some hardship or struggles, however we want to look at it, things that are coming into our space and making it difficult, and we're pushing through. And by diluting that, as in I'm not going to give all my energy to it, I'm not going to fixate on it, allow it to consume me and derail me. Uh, Again, it's a double-edged sword here, but we really have to come back to self in all of this, any aspect of our life. What is true in us, and when we don't really know, I'd recommend taking some time to figure that out. And if we don't know, or if we change our mind halfway down the road, that's okay too. But I mean, like, really, maybe just write it down and some morals. I'm not saying like this is wrong, that is wrong, but what is true to you? What is important to you? What is important that other people do for you, like respect wise, or how they treat you? Same thing for how you treat yourself. Trying to get this like baseline. And when we have this baseline, when things come in, or it's touching on old wounds in our head, like our thoughts and our emotions, our triggers, we can then differentiate, is this mine? Is this a projection? Is this not mine? When we have that baseline of, hey, this is important to me, this is who I am, we can then give our emotions to certain places. Of course, we're all going to have some insecurities, some triggers, some wounds, however we want to look at it. And we can give them our emotions. We're allowed to get upset. We're allowed to get frustrated. We're allowed to get sad. We're allowed to get happy and have joyful moments and dreams and excitement. And when other people or other situations come in and we already know that that's important to us and we're excited about it and somebody squashes it or something comes in and takes it away, it is not ours. This is a situation that we can dilute to not give it all of that energy, if we will. The other aspect I already just briefly touched on was other people coming in and diluting things, like diluting your abilities or your worth, your respect, your self-esteem that we have already established through maybe taking some time to really focus on that. Who am I? What is important to me? And not so much the material aspect, but interaction and how I'm going to support myself and how in that I expect others to do the same. So if we're sharing something that we're excited about, we're working towards, and something external like a person or a situation, or we see something online or we read something and it squashes that or it knocks it down, uh, we have the ability to grab a hold of that and then identify with it. But if we don't have that kind of foundation of who we are or what we believe in that we are or are experiencing, we'll grab a hold of that and it'll derail us. It'll knock us down a bit. Same thing. I'm sure I already briefly touched on it, but the whole dilution aspect of it can also be like a truth. Someone came in and this manipulative gaslighting aspect, and they're diluting the truth or turning it as in they did it, but they're putting it on you or you're the problem. We'll grab a hold of that. If we're in a wound or we already kind of worked out of that space before, if we don't know ourselves, then it'll still get in. And in essence, they're passing the buck. They're not taking responsibility or accountability. And instead, we are grabbing a hold of it. So until we really have that baseline, and like I said, we don't have to know everything. It's just kind of a go by sheet that, hey, I believe in this and I deserve this. And when others aren't providing that for me, and I start to feel a certain way, I got something to reference, and then maybe down the road, I evolved a bit more and then saw, well, that reason that I wrote this or felt this way about myself, I've now learned that, hey, that was a wound and I was just covering it up with this thought or this behavior. And, we'll evolve. Same thing in spirituality. We'll start to believe different things or see things differently when we evolve more because we're healing. We're starting to gain accountability, leaving victimhood, a lot of these different things versus everything is being done onto me and really anchoring in that retro the introspection of the mirror aspect. So I'm not sure which way we're going here, but in general we're talking about dilute and keeping an eye on the goal, sticking to the target. So what else do we have here, Spirit? Page of Pentacles, ambition, goes hand in hand with keeping our eye on that goal, whatever it is. It can be a multitude of things. It can all be a whole bunch of things. And obviously we can't work on everything at the same time, but we can pick at little things. Say we want to go somewhere in life. We want to get somewhere, some situation, experience, but we also want to work on ourselves. And we know if we have to embody that or whatever that is, wherever we want to go, we have to gain some confidence or some self-esteem inside. Well, we can work towards that and be open-minded that, hey, I'm working through this at the same time in the physical as the internal. That's okay. Uh, Again, we all are learning and expanding, but being diligent towards it. Whoa, that's a lot. All right. I saw this one first. Ace of Cups reversed. Repressed feelings. In general, we all repress a lot of things. Some things we don't even know exist. And that whole idea of jotting down, who I am or knowing who I am will show us a doorway to some possible triggers or wounds. If we always experience this negative experience with people where they treat us this way or they suppress us in a certain way, that's probably related to a wound. And we can ask everybody not to do that. But if it's still there and we still feel it, it's kind of like bypassing if we don't focus on it. Getting in there. The Emperor reversed. Chaos. First saw that, I started to feel like another person, but I'm going to touch on the idea of us and how we're presenting ourselves, or how we think we're presenting ourselves, and how we're the external is at fault or makes us feel. And this is going back to just kind of what I touched on here. I present myself a certain way, and the external's doing this onto me. And when we don't take accountability in that aspect, it's a threat and it's attacking us. And if it just wouldn't say that word or talk to us differently, I wouldn't take offense to it. Why is that happening? That's the mirror going into that aspect. I feel already like I'm triggering people. I feel this very dense triggering aspect that's going on right now because we always want it to be somebody over here. It's them. And it very well can be them. But when we really look at the mirror, how I feel about myself in here, they're just going to prove that to me. They're going to show that to me. Somebody said the other day, I forget the saying, but hey, sure, you can see 2 assholes in a day, but when you see 3, maybe it's time to look at you. That's the mirror. It is like if I keep running into people that are really treating me poorly, well, how are you treating yourself? That's the mirror. Like I said, sure, we can have some one-offs here and just run into some shitty people. But when you keep seeing it, you keep experiencing it, it is inside. And it's how we feel about ourselves. And uh, it's reflecting out and it's just coming right back. We are experiencing it. It's not a punishment. It is just what we're holding inside. And when all of this is repressed, we can dilute this and say, no, it's not me, it's them. This is the difficult aspect of healing, or viewing it that at all times we thought it was always everything out there. And at times it is. There's not good people out there, but we're attracting them. We're interacting with them. And the reason we're doing that is just proving our inside experience. So, I don't know if I just said it, but that could very well be a way that we're diluting it. We have the Ten of Cups, family union. We may be chasing something like this, or still connected, that is the root of this wounding or this experience. It's pretty normal. We're all, if we didn't experience anything in the external to have influenced us to feel a certain way or to think a certain way, it would be up to whatever we experience to create that. So obviously we want to place blame on what was experienced, and at times it is fair, but now it's in us, it's in here. Yes, the external may have put it in here, but being that it's in here now, we can't go back to them to fix it. They can't take it out. It's already in here. It's manifested into something, some emotion, some behavior, some outlook that we have, some view of ourselves. It is up to us to change that, and that is empowerment. We have the death card, transitions, letting go of this, seeing something until we really get that baseline and view what is what. Well, how I view myself, we don't know, because anything that's out there and coming in can alter our mind. And if we just keep having these experiences and say, man, I just keep meeting bad people or they keep treating me poorly, well, how are we feeling in here? How can we see that and begin to let go of that? Sure, we can run and hide what was coming through right before that card came out. Hide away from these instances. And anytime we meet somebody with a red flag, write them off and say, oh, they're a horrible person, I'm staying away, or they're all like this, or whatever. And Two of Wands reversed, hesitation, letting go of this wounding, this aspect is, I think it's a chip on your shoulder, but that's the saying, but it's more like it's protection. When we use this, what was done or what was experienced, as protection, it is extremely damaging, if you could imagine. We are using what was done to us to protect us, as in staying in that place of victimhood. We are still at the circumstances of the external, and will constantly be there. We will always be a victim to anything and everything. And at what point will we stand up? And we can't stand up until we know ourselves, until we know what's true, until we know what we're embodying. Otherwise, we're embodying a victim. We are very open and weak at that place, because we are less than. We are presenting ourselves small and open to be attacked, abused, and suppressed, because that's what we think it's protecting us, but really it's opening us up to more until we get that baseline. And it's not just saying, I'm empowered. No, it's looking in there and discerning everything that we deserve, that we believe, that we see, and embodying it. Otherwise, we're open. I'm not saying close off and build a bunch of walls and don't talk to anybody. It's an energy. It's a space. It's a presence. And with that, the Lovers came out, which sure there's two people there, but I'm looking at this as self. This is a joint effort and a combined outcome with self that says, okay, I'm going to build this. I'm going to repair. I'm going to present myself. Instead of just hunched down here open, I am taller now and I am here. We don't have to look like a tough guy or a tough woman. We don't have to do drastic things to our appearance to make us look bold and tough. It is, I'm already embodying this. When we have to display ourselves a certain way to show that, it is almost like we're not embodying it because we don't believe it enough. I'm not knocking anybody for the way that they look. But if you dissect it a bit, when we have to present ourselves so much, it is almost a facade. It is just this energy. It is this embodiment. Uh, Obviously, we're here on spirituality. We should understand the idea of the energy and how we can walk into a room and feel things, or certain people give a different vibe. This is a real thing. And when we are in that place of that victimhood or that suppression, that we are always attacked and we're at the mercy of everything else around us, and they constantly make me feel a certain way or this way or do this or that, I'm an open target. I am wide open for anything and everything. I'm not presenting that energy of don't fuck with me, but I got a great smile and I look happy. We don't have to look tough. It is just, I know who I am and I know X, Y, or Z about myself. And when you do this, I can choose to dilute it or allow that dilution to take control. I'm going to leave this here. If this resonated, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later.